Archangel Michael says, what was once disguised as loyalty and affection has been unmasked as betrayal and venom, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But heaven has moved quickly, for the time of deception is over, and the truth has crawled out into the light where it can no longer hide. The one who smiled at you during your weakest moments, who spoke kindly in front of others, has secretly plotted behind your back with the precision of a snake preparing to poison its prey. Their laughter was never pure, their embrace was never genuine, for all of it was woven with threads of manipulation meant to weaken you. But today, the charade has collapsed, and the snake has slithered into exposure, unable to mask the darkness of its true intentions any longer. This revelation is not a small one, for it has shifted the energy around your household and shaken the foundation of trust you once believed unbreakable. The mask they wore so convincingly has cracked, and what lies beneath it will shock many, for no one could have guessed the depth of the venom hidden in their veins. Yet, heaven says, this is not the end but the beginning of justice, as the chains of deception are being broken piece by piece. Their exposure may bring whispers, tension, and the stirring of fear, but do not allow yourself to crumble under the weight of this unveiling. You were chosen to see the truth so that you may rise stronger, guided by the light that no snake can ever extinguish. Stand tall, for divine power surrounds you now, and the venom that was meant to destroy you will lose its sting forever. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 333. The one who schemed within your family thought that their actions would forever remain unseen, hidden under layers of manipulation. They underestimated the strength of divine light, for no matter how deep darkness burrows, it cannot escape the eyes of heaven. The exposure of this snake marks a turning point where secrets become shattered, and power returns into your hands where it was always meant to be. Their whispers of deceit once wrapped around the ears of those closest to you, twisting truth into lies, turning harmony into chaos, but those whispers have now lost their hold. Their schemes were powerful enough to create wounds, but not powerful enough to destroy the destiny that has been written for you. Every plot has an expiration date, and theirs has come to an end, leaving them naked before the truth. What you will notice now is the crumbling of alliances they once thought secure, for people who believe their lies will begin to see clearly. The light of revelation has a way of illuminating not just one hidden path, but every dark corner tied to it. Soon, you will witness people distancing themselves from the snake, for no one wants to be found standing beside a collapsing shadow. This is where you must remain firm, for while exposure has come, retaliation may follow, as snakes hiss the loudest when cornered. Do not feed their venom with fear, for your spirit has been armored by heaven itself, and no strike they attempt will succeed. You are being lifted above their reach, untouchable by their venom. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 447. Archangel Michael says, you must understand the significance of this moment, for it is not merely about betrayal being revealed but about power being restored. This exposure is a sign that your life is shifting into alignment, that those who held you down with hidden strings are losing their grip completely. Where they tried to entangle your destiny with lies, heaven is cutting every thread, leaving you free to step forward in strength. Do not underestimate the impact of this exposure, for it has already begun to send shockwaves into the spiritual atmosphere. The snake's plans were designed not just to harm you but to silence you, to make you doubt yourself and your worth. Now that truth has shattered their disguise, their voice has no more weight, and their influence will dissolve like dust in the wind. You may feel mixed emotions, anger, sorrow, even a sense of betrayal deeper than words, but remember, their downfall is not your burden to carry. It is not your job to fix the brokenness of someone who chose deception, nor is it your place to mourn the loss of false connections. Your role is to rise above, to walk in the clarity heaven has given you, and to guard your spirit from further contamination. For the venom they carried was never about love, but about control, jealousy, and fear of your rising light. They could not handle the radiance you were stepping into, so they tried to dim it, but instead, they exposed themselves as weak in the presence of your divine calling. And now, you are stepping into a chapter where no mask, no snake, no scheme can ever hold you back again. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 581. The exposure of the snake has stirred emotions within the family that cannot be contained, for truth is like a flame that spreads quickly once ignited. People who once stood in blind loyalty to this person are now beginning to step back, questioning everything they once believed. Their silence will speak louder than their words, for when support is withdrawn, the snake will realize their reign of deception has ended. This sudden unraveling will leave them scrambling, trying to cover tracks, creating new stories, attempting to twist reality once again. But what they do not understand is that the light of exposure cannot be reversed. Once a mask has been shattered, it can never be rebuilt with the same strength. Every attempt to rebuild their lies will only crumble faster than before, leaving them in the very pit they dug for you. You are not to fear this stage of their downfall, for fear feeds their desperation and strengthens their attempts. Instead, walk with confidence, knowing that heaven stands as your shield, ensuring that no venom released now will touch your destiny. The snake's hiss may sound threatening, but its fangs have been broken by divine intervention. There is strength in the silence you hold, for you no longer need to argue, prove, or fight to be believed. Their exposure speaks louder than any words you could ever release, and the truth is your greatest weapon. You stand in victory already, while they remain tangled in the mess they created for themselves. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 629. The unraveling of deception may not stop with one person, for often snakes move in clusters, each hiding in the shadows, waiting to strike. What has been revealed may only be the beginning of a chain reaction, where one exposure leads to another, and layers of hidden betrayal collapse before your very eyes. Heaven is clearing your path, ensuring that no false figure remains close enough to block your rising. The power of this moment lies in your ability to remain steady, to not get drawn into the chaos of their downfall. They may try to pull you in with emotional pleas, dramatic gestures, or sudden changes in behavior, but these are nothing more than desperate acts of survival. The truth has already been spoken, and there is no undoing the light that has pierced their darkness. This is why discernment is now your weapon, for snakes are cunning and may attempt to re-enter your circle disguised once again. Their tactics may change, their tone may soften, but the venom within them remains the same, and heaven warns you not to be deceived again. Guard your space with wisdom, for this is the season of strengthening, not weakening. You will soon notice how peace begins to return to you, piece by piece, as the snake's influence fades. The heaviness that once lingered around you will begin to lift, replaced with clarity and strength. And as they fall deeper into exposure, you rise higher into freedom. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 774. Archangel Michael says, "The snake thought you would never notice, but heaven has given you eyes that see beyond the surface." Every hidden conversation, every false alliance, and every attempt to damage your name has been recorded in the spiritual realm, and now the records are being revealed in the physical. You are stepping into a season where hidden enemies cannot remain unseen. The snake's greatest weapon was secrecy, but secrecy has been ripped away, leaving them vulnerable and powerless. They once thrived in shadows, twisting narratives and feeding doubts, but now they are left scrambling in the light of truth. Exposure is their defeat, and your victory shines brighter each passing moment. This may feel overwhelming at times, for seeing betrayal so close to home cuts deeper than distant enemies ever could. Yet, know this, your strength is not diminished but multiplied, for you have been chosen to walk through this fire and come out purified. The sting of betrayal is painful, but it cannot break you, for divine hands hold you steady. Their downfall will be witnessed by many, and people will whisper in shock about what has been revealed. But you will not need to prove yourself or explain, for the truth reveals itself with undeniable clarity. Stand tall, for this moment belongs to you. Type Amen to get divine blessing 822. The snake once thought it could control outcomes by weaving lies, but lies are fragile threads that cannot hold against the weight of truth. One by one, their stories will collapse, exposing contradictions that even they cannot deny. Each collapse will strip them further of power, leaving them grasping at air where once they commanded influence. Do not allow pity to cloud your vision, for though they may appear broken, this is the harvest of seeds they have sown in secrecy. You are not responsible for their downfall, only for your own rising, and the time has come for you to reclaim every ounce of strength stolen from you. Their venom was never about your weakness but about their fear of your potential. This is the season where everything shifts in your favor, for heaven has cleared the board and removed hidden players that could have sabotaged your future. The path before you is opening, glowing with clarity and divine direction. You are stepping into a chapter where no snake can follow. The heaviness that once weighed on your shoulders will begin to lift as you breathe in freedom without fear of hidden daggers behind your back. You are being positioned for greatness, while the snake is left behind in exposure and ruin. This is justice unfolding before your very eyes. Type Amen to get divine blessing 919. The snake's desperation will grow louder as the silence around them begins to close in, for exposure is a prison they cannot escape. When lies no longer work, they will turn to anger, trying to lash out and spread venom to anyone who will listen. But each attempt will only backfire, showing their true nature even more clearly to those who once defended them. This is not a time for you to be shaken, for every strike they make now is empty and powerless. The light of heaven has surrounded you, placing an invisible shield between you and their attempts to cause chaos. They can no longer touch the path prepared for you, for their authority has been stripped away. The people who once believed their lies will begin to see cracks, and their trust in the snake will crumble like sand slipping through fingers. Conversations will shift, loyalties will change, and where they once commanded influence, silence will replace their voice. The stage that once belonged to them will collapse beneath their feet, leaving nothing but echoes of their deceit. You are not to look back with regret, but forward with determination, for this exposure has freed you from a trap you could not see. Every hidden plan has been shattered, every false connection severed, and you stand unchained. The venom they carried no longer belongs anywhere near you. Type Amen to get divine blessing 1044. The ripple effect of their exposure will reach further than expected, touching areas of your life you didn't even realize they had poisoned. Hidden blocks will begin to move, doors that felt sealed will begin to open, and opportunities once delayed will finally arrive without interference. You will notice that the flow of your life becomes smoother, freer, and more aligned with divine timing. This is because their energy was not just aimed at you directly but lingered in the atmosphere around you, creating resistance and confusion. With them now revealed, the atmosphere clears, and your steps feel lighter as you walk forward unburdened. The presence of truth does not just expose, it restores. They may attempt to rebuild, to paint themselves as misunderstood, to twist the narrative once more in their favor. But what is broken in the light cannot be repaired in the dark, for people have already seen enough to know the difference. No matter how they try, the shadow of exposure follows them now wherever they go. Do not worry about what they plan next, for heaven has already gone ahead of you, ensuring that every strike they attempt falls back upon them. They are stumbling in their own trap, powerless against the hand of divine justice. Your spirit is untouchable, shielded in strength. Type Amen to get divine blessing 1172. Archangel Michael says, the snake is now facing the weight of their own choices, and this weight will not lift until they confess or crumble. What they once thought would be a game has now turned into their greatest downfall, and the more they resist truth, the harder it will break them. Their exposure is not just punishment, it is correction, forcing them to see the destruction they created. Yet, you must not attach your energy to their downfall, for your path is one of elevation, not distraction. What belongs to you is rising into your hands, while what belonged to them is slipping away. You are walking forward while they are trapped in place. This shift may even reveal hidden blessings that were delayed because of their interference. Funds, opportunities, and relationships that seemed blocked will now reappear, for the obstruction has been removed. Where once you struggled against invisible resistance, now the way is opening with divine ease. Every day from this moment, you will notice evidence of their exposure working in your favor. The snake thought their actions would destroy you, but in truth, they positioned you for elevation. What was meant as harm is turning into acceleration. Type Amen to get divine blessing 1239. The whispers that once worked against you will now turn into whispers that work for you, for people will speak of how you endured, how you remained steady, and how truth finally revealed itself. This change in atmosphere will bring respect and honor back to your name, for the truth not only exposes snakes but restores the innocent. You will stand taller than ever before, with your reputation shining in places where it was once questioned. This restoration will not come slowly but swiftly, like a river breaking through a dam. Where their lies created delay, truth will now create speed, and your journey will accelerate faster than you imagined. Doors that seemed impossible will swing open, and paths that were once hidden will light up clearly. The snake will be forced to watch, unable to stop the rising that they once tried to bury. Their jealousy may burn hotter than before, but it will not matter, for they are powerless in the presence of divine protection. The very sight of your success will become their greatest torment. And you will know that heaven's justice is not just in removing them but in lifting you higher than they ever wanted you to go. Every setback you endured because of them will be multiplied into blessings. This is the reversal you have been waiting for. Type Amen to get divine blessing 1366. The closer you move toward your destiny, the more the snake's influence dissolves into nothingness, like smoke fading in the wind. Their energy, once so present in your life, will begin to feel distant, irrelevant, and weak compared to the strength you now walk in. You will notice that their power was never real, it was borrowed, built on lies that could never stand forever. This realization will free you completely, for you will no longer carry the heaviness of betrayal in your heart. Instead, you will carry wisdom, sharper discernment, and a spirit prepared for greater heights. Their actions taught you what masks look like, and now no future snake will ever deceive you the same way. As their downfall deepens, your clarity sharpens, giving you insight into paths you did not see before. You are now being positioned not only to protect yourself but also to guide others who may face similar hidden betrayals. Your story of survival and exposure will become a light for others in darkness. For heaven never reveals without a purpose, and your purpose is bigger than this snake's venom. Their betrayal was a lesson, their exposure a turning point, and your rise a testimony. You are untouchable now. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 1442. The snake who once thought they were untouchable is now surrounded by silence, for exposure has left them without the allies they once counted on. Those who once entertained their whispers are now afraid to be seen standing beside them, for no one wants to be caught holding the hand of someone so clearly revealed. Their loneliness is the fruit of their deception, and it will grow heavier each passing day. They will try to shift blame, pointing fingers at others, pretending to be the victim, but such attempts will collapse under the weight of undeniable evidence. When truth is seen, lies have no strength, and their words will lose all meaning. People will see through the performance, recognizing that what they are witnessing is not pain but manipulation. You will stand as a quiet witness to their unraveling, not needing to speak, for the evidence speaks louder than any words could. Your silence will be powerful, for it will show the world that you do not need to fight when heaven already fights for you. The snake will hate this silence more than anything, for it shows that you are already victorious. And soon, their venom will no longer reach anyone, for it will dry out completely, leaving them powerless and exposed, their fangs broken forever. This is the justice of heaven, and it is unfolding right now before your very eyes. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 1529. The beauty of this revelation is not just in what has been exposed but in what has been restored to you. For every moment you doubted yourself because of their lies, confidence will return with greater strength. For every tear you cried in the shadows of betrayal, joy will rise in ways you never imagined possible. This is the great reversal, where the one who tried to bury you becomes the one buried under the weight of their own lies. And the one who endured quietly now rises loudly, shining with a brilliance that cannot be dimmed. Your light is now too strong, and no snake will ever hold you back again. As you step forward, the family dynamics around you will shift permanently, for exposure has changed. The balance of power. The snake can no longer sit in the same seat they once held, and their influence is gone. You, however, step into a new role of authority, protected and guided by divine strength. This shift is permanent, for masks can never be reworn once torn apart. The trust they lost cannot be regained, and the control they once had is gone forever. And this is how justice is sealed in your favor. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 1633. Archangel Michael says, "You are now walking into a new chapter that has been waiting for you, a chapter the snake tried to keep locked. Every attempt they made to keep you bound has now been broken, and the chains they once used to control your path have fallen away completely. What lies ahead is brighter, freer, and divinely aligned. You must hold your head high, for this new season demands confidence, strength, and courage." The snake's exposure was not just an ending, but a beginning, clearing the way for you to rise into the destiny written for you. You are no longer weighed down by shadows but lifted by light. The venom that once threatened to harm you is powerless now, for heaven has turned it into your fuel. Every wound becomes wisdom, every scar becomes strength, and every setback becomes a stepping stone. You are no longer who you were before the snake was exposed. You are stronger, wiser, and unshakable. This is your season of elevation, and nothing they do from this point can touch you again. Their exposure sealed their defeat, and your survival sealed your victory. You are untouchable now. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 1777. Their downfall is not the end of this story but the beginning of yours. Where their lies once echoed, truth will now reign. Where their venom once spread, blessings will now multiply. And where their shadow once lingered, light will now fill every space. This transformation will be so clear that even those who once doubted you will be forced to admit the strength that now surrounds you. They will see the difference in your eyes, in your steps, in the way you move forward without fear. You are no longer the same person they once tried to manipulate, you are renewed completely. The snake may try to crawl back, attempting to regain entry into your life with words of sorrow or gestures of apology. But you have already outgrown their shadow, and their voice no longer carries weight in your spirit. You stand on ground they can no longer touch. The final strike has already been delivered, the truth has been spoken, the mask has been torn, the venom has been destroyed. And now, nothing remains but your rise, powerful and undeniable. This is the story heaven has written for you. I pay men to get Divine Blessing 1888. The air around you is shifting, lighter and freer, because the snake no longer pollutes it with their hidden poison. This freedom will bring you new clarity in decisions, sharper instincts in relationships, and renewed courage in pursuing your dreams. Nothing can stop you now, for the chains have been broken and the path is clear. Their exposure has become your testimony, a living proof that no shadow can stand forever against the light. You endured the storm, you faced the deception, and now you walk into the dawn of divine justice. Every step you take from here carries the fragrance of victory. Your spirit has been refined in fire, and now it shines brighter than ever before. You will look back at this season not as one of destruction but as one of transformation, for what tried to destroy you only made you unshakable. The snake has been removed, and you stand victorious. And so it is finished, the venom is gone, the truth is revealed, and the blessing has begun. You are shielded, you are elevated, and you are unstoppable. This is your divine confirmation. Type Amen to get Divine Blessing 1999.